Welcome to 2-Minute Tips. We've been sharing with you multiple strategies for teaching vocabulary to your students. And today we're going to talk about planning. We know it's important to teach vocabulary to our kids before we read with them, so they can understand what the passage is about, and so that they can demonstrate mastery of the content when we're done reading. Before we read with our kids, we always need to preview the text ourselves and think about vocabulary beyond the bold-faced words. So as I read, I like to think about vocabulary in terms of 3 tiers. Tiered vocabulary. Tier 1 words are common words, everyday words that kids usually pick up in conversation. Girl, boy, dog, tree. Tier 2 words are high-frequency words that appear often across content areas, like summarize, predict, and character. The kids use them regularly, and spending time teaching these words well will set them up for success. Tier 2 is also where we would put multiple meaning words, like the word lock, the lock on the locker, a lock of hair, a lock that the ships travel through. We need to clarify these words for our English language learners so that they're not confused by the text. And lastly are our high-frequency, domain-specific words, like isosceles and mitosis and federalist. These are words that kids don't encounter regularly outside of the subject area we're teaching. We need to spend time teaching these words as well. So let me show you how I do this. I'm going to use Sarah Plain and Tall as my model text. And before I read, I grab a Post-it note and put the numbers 1, 2, and 3 in 3 columns across the note. Here's a larger version. Let me read you the first part of this passage, and as I read, you'll see the words that I've identified as important to teach to my students. Did Mama sing every day? Asked Caleb. Every single day? He sat close to the fire, his chin in his hand. It was dusk and the dogs lay beside him on the warm hearthstones. Every single day. I told him for the 2nd time this week, for the 20th time this month, for the 100th time this year, and the past few years. Did Papa sing too? Yes, Papa sang too. Don't get so close, Caleb, you'll heat up. He pushed his chair back, and it made a hollow scraping sound against the hearthstones, and the dogs stirred. Lottie, small and black, wagged her tail and lifted her head. Nick slept on. As I read this passage, I found many words that I thought might be challenging for my students. I put I put Mama and Papa in column 1 because of words like Pa and Ma. There are many names for mothers and fathers, and we need to clarify these for children that might not be familiar with these terms. In Tier 2, I identified these words: dusk, 20th, single, 100th, and stirred. And in Tier 3, I put hearthstone and hollow, because those are words that my 3rd graders probably have not encountered before. As you read and make these lists, you might be overwhelmed by the number of words that are challenging. And then you think, on the other hand, I know research says to only teach 5 or 8 words to my students, because any more is too overwhelming. So what do you pick? What's essential? Go back to your objective. If my objective is to have students point out how authors use descriptive language to help readers visualize things in stories, then I want to focus on words here that are just part of the descriptive language of the story. I'm going to make sure to teach dusk and stirred and hearthstone and hollow. And I'll save these math terms to teach in math or at another time. I hope that this helps to compartmentalize vocabulary and to make sure that it's always connected to your objective. Happy planning.